declare this congregation open.
Chancellor, members of the Corporation, distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to have this opportunity to welcome everyone to this, the second of today's 3 awards congregations. All of the staff here at University College Birmingham look forward to these events, but I suspect that our students even more keenly look forward to this special day. It is a time for celebration. The hard work of our students is finally being rewarded. But it is also an important life event, often signifying some vital life change. The 3 ceremonies we hold today will see over 1,200 students cross this stage to the applause of over 6,000 guests, as you share in the joy of your daughters, sons, husbands, wives and friends. We welcome in particular the many family friends and members of the families of our graduates. We understand that today is also a very special one for you. We, and I'm sure our students, recognise the important part you have played in their success, and we do hope that you enjoy this special day. We are joined today by representatives of some of the employers and industries that have helped to develop our programmes, ensuring their continuing relevance to the industries that they serve. From the point of view of our students, industry support is even more important in terms of providing placement opportunities and, most importantly of all, jobs and graduation. I offer a warm welcome and the grateful thanks of the University for your continuing support. I also extend a warm welcome to colleagues from our partner institutions, Southern City College Birmingham, Windsor Forest Group, Cardiff and Vale College and Alma Rose, all of whom have students graduating with us today. I also welcome our colleague from the University of Birmingham, the Pro-Vice-Chancellor, Professor Armour, who is conferring degrees of the University at this congregation. Last but not least, we extend a special welcome to our diplomats and graduates. This afternoon, you can give yourselves a pat on the back for a job well done, and when you walk across this stage to receive your awards, you can also soak up the tremendous sense of pride of your families, friends and tutors for what you have achieved. Today for you all, one chapter closes and another begins. For some of you, further study beckons, for others, the world of work. Whatever your future holds, make the most of today and make it an occasion that you, your families and friends will always remember. Once again, welcome and congratulations on your success. So, on with the congregation. I now call upon the Chancellor to address the congregation.
Thank you. On behalf of all of my colleagues here on the stage, the warmest possible welcome and congratulations on your achievement. There are so many things that I think we all want to say to you, so many words of wisdom, so many thoughts about your future and how it may evolve. But today is a day for special memories. It's particularly a day for memories for our family and friends who are here to join with you on your special day. It's especially a day for me because this is the culmination of everything that we do as a university. And a special day for you too. What I'd like to do first of all is, if you wouldn't mind, if we're going to make memories, I think it's kind of important that we should do that. And I'd like a memory, and that will be a photograph, if you don't mind, with you. So will you make sure you all smile, please? Okay, let's have you there. Fantastic, wonderful. Let me turn it around the other way. Let's have it. I'll tell you what, I mean, it really is your day, not mine. Would you do me a favour? Would you all just stand up just for a moment? Okay? And what I'd like you to do is just to turn around and look at this auditorium. Have a look up there in the gods. So many people here to share your success. Yes, say hello. Great. Really want you to see what we see from this stage. It's an amazing, amazing sight. Go on, sit yourselves down. We have got a great many students here today, which I think is an indication of our success and our development as a university. But I'm going to be very, very short in addressing you because otherwise we'll be here all day, and that's not what you want. Broad Street isn't far away, and I know where you really want to be. So, really what I'd like to say, I just wanted a couple of words. I was driving up this morning and I'm thinking, what on earth do I talk about? This is my 80th graduation ceremony, and each time I try to think of something different to just generally chat about that may be of value to you in time ahead. And the thing that occurred to me as I drove up this morning was looking at ambition and how that changes over time. And I was thinking, you know, way back when I was 6 years old and I got a birthday present of a viewfinder, Viewmaster. And it's like a set of binoculars that you see 3D pictures of different places around the world. It's kind of like an archaic version of Google Earth. And the picture that I remember as a 6-year-old was one of the giant redwood forests in California, and of these people driving a car through the middle of a tree. And last year I was fortunate enough to be in California visiting my daughter who was working over there. And I'm driving along the road and I see this sign, and it says Chandelier Tree. And 60 years later, something triggered in my memory. I had that ambition that I wanted to drive through that tree. So I swerved off the road, paid my $5, and I drove through this tree, and I got somebody to take a photo for me, and that's hanging over my desk at home now. And I'm driving a great big RT vehicle through this 30-foot tree, 300 foot high, 250 years old. And it's just one of those things, do you think, it's taken me 60 years, but I finally achieved that ambition. And in much the same way, when I left school at 16 years old, I got GCSEs, I didn't want to stay on. I always had an ambition, I wanted to be a teacher. But of course you can't be a teacher if you don't have a degree in PGCE and all the rest of it. So I went into the world of work, I worked in a bank, and then I worked for the local authority, and eventually I started working training staff in industry, teaching management skills and supervisory skills and health and safety, all the really boring stuff. And that led on to being asked to work with a group of young adults with learning disabilities. And it had taken me 40 odd years, but I was finally doing what I wanted to do the day I left school. I was teaching. And it was the best 10 years of my life because I achieved that ambition. And I guess the thing I want to share with you is that ambitions don't necessarily happen. You don't achieve them overnight. They can take time. Sometimes it takes a long time, 60 years. Sometimes they're achieved by good fortune. I just happened to be driving down a road and saw a road sign. Sometimes they happen through sheer hard work and determination. I always wanted to teach, and eventually I got there by a very circuitous route, but I got there. So what I'm saying to you guys is, you have ambition. I know you have ambition. You've shown that in your success today. And whether you achieve that immediately or in the longer term, what I want to say is hold that ambition close to your heart, because that ambition is you. That's you as a person. And one day you'll achieve it. So, have a fabulous day, enjoy coming across the stage, make loads of noise as people come across, and do look around, enjoy it. That's what today's all for. Thank you.
Chancellor, members of the Corporation, distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. On occasion, the Corporation considers awarding an Honorary Fellowship of the University. This honour is awarded to those individuals who have rendered important services to UCB over a sustained period and have been members of or closely associated with the University. In this ceremony, we will be conferring one Honorary Fellowship. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the Vice-Chancellor and Principal, Professor Michael Harkin, to read the citation for the conferment of an Honorary Fellowship on Dr. Sarah Chu.
I have the honour and privilege of delivering this citation as a late substitute off the bench for the injured Dr. Eddie McIntyre, our former Principal and Chief Executive at the time of the recipient, Sarah's, employment started. Eddie and Sarah have a long history of university business and friendship. Sadly, he has been ill in hospital in recent weeks, and while I'm delighted to report that he is much stronger and recovering well now, he is upset that he's not able to present the citation for Sarah today in person, as was his intention. With the support of other former colleagues of Sarah, with particular thanks to Professor Melvin Pryor, who I've just spotted on my right, he was away, with whom Sarah has travelled extensively on university international business. As Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I am delighted to represent them today. Dr. Sarah Chu will be known to many of those graduating today as the Director of Asian Student Recruitment at UCB, a role she has held since 2012. Her expertise in planning and managing exhibitions and recruitment activities in Asia is second to none, while she has continued to manage and develop UCB's extensive links with overseas institutions and awarding bodies. Back at UCB, she has held responsibility for all non-EU international student admissions and orientation activities, whilst as a former international student herself, Sarah has been able to offer expert and informed counselling and guidance to numerous students over the years based on her own study experiences. Yet Sarah has a background very different to most graduating today. In being brought up in Hong Kong, she commenced her working life at the age of 14, working full-time in a factory. Nevertheless, Sarah was determined to better herself and understood that without educational qualifications, her chances of being successful in a competitive world would be more limited. She therefore enrolled in evening school and after finishing work each day, took evening classes to complete her Hong Kong secondary school qualifications. In the process, she has achieved very good grades, but her life really changed when her sister offered her the opportunity to leave the factory and to study in the UK at what was then the Birmingham College of Food, Tourism and Creative Studies, now UCB. Hence, in 1988, she commenced studying for a BTEC Higher National Diploma in Hotel and Catering and Institutional Management. Student life was not easy, for Sarah had to work part-time in restaurants to support herself, while she found studying in English a big challenge. Nevertheless, success on this course led to Sarah reading for the final year of the BA Honours Hotel Business Management, from which she graduated in 1995 with a richly deserved first-class honours degree. The 14th of February, Valentine's Day, is now, of course, associated as a date with romantic relationships. Of course, I only know this because my own mother and father were married on the 14th of February 1961, over 58 years ago. But my father still protests to this day that Valentine's Day wasn't even around in 1961. And it was all to do with getting married on the last Saturday before the end of the tax year so they could get a tax refund. Whoever said romance was dead? Anyway, my father's grumpiness aside, let's not lose sight of the more modern day romantic notion of that dead. There aren't too many letters I can recall writing over 23 years ago, but one of them was the most important I wrote in my time with UCB. It was written on the 14th of February 1996, when it was then the Birmingham College of Food, Tourism and Creative Studies. As any letter on such a date might start, it started with, "Dear Sarah," and then went on to say, "I am pleased to confirm that the Department of Education and Employment have now written to me to confirm approval of your work permit." Not quite romantic, I know, but it was the start of a long and loving relationship between UCB and Dr. Sarah Chu. I was delighted to get the news that we had won our employment appeal and received authority to legally employ one of the most valued members of staff ever to have worked for this university. Someone who has loved this university as a student and member of staff and given every ounce of her time and energy to ensure its success. For almost a quarter of a century, Sarah has worked relentlessly with our overseas students and all of our lecturing and professional support staff. Since then, she has travelled and worked incredibly hard and long hours across time zones to ensure that our students had the very best support